One Piece chapter 1100, 1100 chapters of this great manga. Let's just get in straight to it, bro. Let's get into it, bro. First things first, before I want to start easily, this backstory of Kuma and the span of chapters that we've been reading, I dreaded this at first, because how we were forced to kind of have to, well, we're forced to read whatever Oda puts out anyway, but like the way that we transition from something that we've wanted to learn about for decades, we could even say now decades, the God Valley incident, and we transition from the God Valley incident to almost the entirety of Kuma's backstory, and we're coming towards the ending of what we would consider this Kuma backstory arc. I feel like there's one more crazy lore drop, which is hopefully, fingers crossed everybody, is that he has a way to get his free will back, which is what my theory is that he's going to all these different places, grabbing these bubbles so he can get himself back. But by the looks of this chapter, it's really 50-50, might even be 30-70, and the chance of human Kuma or even like a cyborg Kuma with personality is really on a low chance of happening. So let's just get into the chapter, bro. So we kicked off last chapter at the ending of it with the deal between Vegapunk and Kuma, and Vegapunk had a bug in his lab this entire time, and like no one knew. And the first thing that I want to talk about is that all they cared about was the deal being done with the pirate, but Kuma and Vegapunk outly talked about Dragon, and there was no speak of that, even though at this current time this would be the most wanted man in the world, Dragon. So why wasn't there anything said by Saint Jay Garcia about Dragon when, like, that's weird. Why wasn't anything said about him? Because Kuma was a part of the revolutionaries, and it seems like all that Jay Garcia cared about was this deal between Vegapunk and Kuma. So, I could be reaching with this, or I could be digging too deep, and maybe the only thing that really mattered, or the only thing that needed to be talked about, was the deal between Kuma and Vegapunk. So I could be tripping, but I just kind of find that weird that they didn't talk about Dragon. That's all. After reading this chapter, it is very apparent why Vegapunk has this soft spot for Bonney now, seeing that in this chapter they basically lived together, I'd say, for about a year and a half. The relationship between Vegapunk, Sentomaru, Kizaru, all those people, I would say less about Kizaru because, we know how he feels about Bonney now. I mean, he sees Bonney as a friend, but like, man, like he's willing to kill his own cousin, if somebody ordered him to. So we can kind of slide Kizaru to the side. But Vegapunk, Sentomaru, we definitely see, the good person in them and why they have that soft spot for Bonney now, because they basically live together. It's also very interesting how we saw the beginnings of, exactly when Vegapunk got the idea to create the satellites. He was just like, hey, I want to keep working. And what if there was like 5 of me that could do everything for me, so I can just keep writing down ideas everywhere? And that idea ended up becoming, I wouldn't say his downfall as in like his death, but like the downfall of like his normality as is, because now he is in a war zone between pirates and marines, and most likely he's gonna have to flee on a pirate ship with pirates with the craziest secrets of the world, forever putting a target on the back of his head. So we will see what happens. We definitely will see. And remember, so the stem cell transplant is what is needed in order to cure Bonney. But this is the chapter where we see exactly how Kuma became the person that he is today, is because he had to agree, in order for the transplant to be done to Bonney, he has to become a robot, basically giving up his free will and his individuality. But personally, what I think is going to happen is, bro, there's just no way. It's just like people like Kuma deserve a happy ending, and there's no way with Vegapunk being a semi good person that he didn't come up with the idea to put his individuality into a bubble, or in like something that would get that back from him. There's no way, right? There's no way that wasn't an idea that wasn't sprung about, or to make a clone, like a full-on, like maybe Pacifista 1.0 clone of Kuma in order to take the surgery. Like there's so many things that could have happened, but we know that Kuma was the one that, you know, took the procedure in order to become the cyborg. But I truly feel like it's just gonna really suck if at the end of the day that after seeing this backstory of Kuma, that the ending of it is like there's nothing that he can do. You know, the last thing that he saw was, you know, science gadgets and all that, and he's not even gonna be able to see Kuma. He's not even gonna be able to see Bonney, you know, fully grown, no sapphire stones, fully cured, a member of the worst generation, a feared pirate, nothing like that. And it's really gonna suck if that ends up being the case for Bonney as well. This is going to be a crazy arc, bro, because remember, in current times, Bonney is getting squeezed right now, and we transferred from that to the God Valley incident flashback, and then we transitioned from that to Kuma's flashback. So it's looking like more and more it might be Kuma that's gonna come to Bonney's rescue. But is there a chance that it's gonna be a fully awoken Kuma, or is it's a 50-50? Either Oda writes it in or he doesn't, that if Kuma gets his individuality back, or if this is just going to be a cyborg. Because personally, what I would prefer, and I think a lot of people would prefer, is that there is a way for Kuma to get his individuality back, and the person that struck this upon him, you guys know all this pain that he's been taking in for years and years and years and years, right? He's been taking on the pain of his people for a long time. He could just plop out a little section of that and give it to Garcia, and you know what I'm saying, get him out of the way real quick, and then he can finally have his happy ending. But it would just suck that if his last orders from Vegapunk was, when a certain thing happens, is to go, maybe all of his pain bubble is somewhere in Mary Joie, or in that area is his last order as a human being that he gave to himself, so that one day he can come and either finish Saturn or save Bonney, was to go get the pain bubble and inflict it on whoever, you know, like, I don't know the specifics of it. This is just a theory after all, but we don't know where Kuma is, or, you know, what it is that he's trying to do, but it has something to do with the fact that he has a paw bubble of all of his memories. So I'm assuming there's gotta be another one, right? It's gotta be another one. So a year passes by, Bonney gets the surgery, and now she has to do rehab for about a year before she's fully cured. And now Kuma has to go get his surgery done. But I think it's like, from what it looks like from this chapter, is that it doesn't fully happen yet, because we end the chapter with a human Kuma, and he's still taking orders, because the deal was for him to become a warlord and for him to become a robot. So I need a little bit more clarification on that before I speak any too further on it. But it seems like next chapter, or the chapter after next, is going to be like the conclusion of Kuma's backstory, and we're going to see exactly what happens before that procedure is, you know, done to him that makes him into a robot. We know that it's possible that Vegapunk was the one that gave him the idea to at least leave his human memories to the side for Bonney, or to leave his human memories on the side for, you know, whatever reason. I know I sound like a broken record, but there's just Vegapunk is a smart guy. There's gotta be a way for him to get his stuff back, bro. There's just gotta be a way. So after the procedure, Bonney is taken back to Sorbet for that rehab, remember, and a Cypher Pole agent is stationed right there where she's at to take care of her, and also as like kind of insurance that in case Kuma ever comes back to see Bonney, which he can't do, he can never see Bonney again. The Cypher Pole agent is just gonna kill Bonney. Obviously that never happens, because we have Bonney in front of us today, and Kuma is a full-on robot. So it really sucks how this is all going on. It's like the first half of Kuma's backstory has been like cool. It's been, you know, it's been like cool to see the hardships and, you know, the really sad backstory of Kuma. But this second half, it's less sad. It's more, I wouldn't say irritating, but more like infuriating. The fact that the things that are happening to him are happening, and like me as a reader can't do anything about it. This is definitely one of those backstories. I think this is one of the only backstories other than Sanji's where like it was infuriating to watch this. Like watching Ichi, Niji, and Yonji, like watching all of them do what they did to Sanji, it was tough to watch. Me being an anime watcher during that time, like it was tough to watch. And then going back in the manga and reading that, it was tough to read. And because like I felt like it was something that I needed to do. And this is one of those times where it's like I want to go help Kuma, but like obviously there's nothing that I can do. So like I have no choice but to sit here and read this crazy thing happening, and there's just nothing that I can do about it. And it's just because I'm someone like Kuma deserves a happy ending for sure. Someone like Kuma, like he deserves a happy ending to go off to a foreign land with Bonney and just live off the rest of his life. But this is One Piece, and I don't think that's gonna happen. But in the case that it does, it just adds more onto the kudos, the millions and millions of cool points and kudos that Oda deserves for making this great manga. And I hope that Oda is okay. I hope that he's okay, because this is like one of the first times where we got like an unfinished chapter, and I hope that everything is okay with Oda. So, everybody send healing prayers. Just make sure, keep him in your thoughts. Keep him in your thoughts, because we need Oda to be in good health. And if we need to take more breaks or we need to have a quick hiatus, then that's fine. I would take Oda's health over a chapter any day of the week, even though that, this is his dream in order to make this, but without good health, you can't make this. So let's just all wish Oda some, just good health, because I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. Chapter 1098, I was scared. I was scared of the future, but it seems like he just needed a week. He just needed a week. He just needed a week to get himself together, and it seems like we're right back in action. There's like maybe someone else will go out and kind of show exactly what it is that I'm trying to convey, but it's a really cool kind of two-sided story going on in the last little section of this chapter. It's like showing while everything that is happening currently in this part of Kuma's backstory, it's like showing us all the different people from the beginning of the story and their reaction to not Kuma's backstory, but Kuma himself. And we're seeing different events that's happening while the backstory is happening. Like, for example, we see the news of Kuma becoming a warlord, and we see people like Doflamingo, Crocodile with Robin before she even joined the crew. We see Luffy before he even set out to be a pirate. Before all that, we see Mihawk, Alvida with Kobe. Like, while all this is happening, the beginning of the story is just now starting. While we needed, I think what it is when we needed our main character wasn't there to come save the day, because the main character wasn't even ready to start his story, which is the story. And it just sucks for Kuma, that he's always there to save everyone, but there's no one there to save him, because it just sucks. Like, this would have been a really cool thing for Dragon to come in and be the person that comes through, saves Kuma again, stops the surgery from happening, formulates this crazy plan because he has the all-weather fruit, make it rain, all that, save the day. But like, Dragon's not the protagonist of this show, so everybody else outside from the main cast, they're on their own, and this is just the effects of it. Kuma had to have this surgery done to him in order to save his daughter, and he didn't care about the outcome. As long as Bonney was cured, that's all that mattered to him. And it just sucks, bro. It just sucks. Looking back at the chapter, looking at the revolutionaries' reaction to Kuma becoming a warlord, I think like this could have been like a perfect opportunity, for Dragon to step up and be like, okay, You know, let's get a division together. The same, like the same thing he did when he sent the little spec ops, you know, over to Marijuana to go and cause some havoc. He could have did the same thing to go see what's going on with Kuma, but we just get like a little panel, because once again, it could happen, it couldn't, because that's like, this is like the last page before the last page, so we wouldn't have been able to see it. But like, I just need somebody to come help Kuma, but I just know it's not gonna happen. And all they have to go on right now is the fact that Kuma's become a warlord that works directly under the government. I mean, obviously they believe that Kuma wouldn't work for them. And like Dragon, can't you like deduct, you know, can't you deduct the problem here in the situation? Can't you deduct the problem? You just sent him to Vegapunk that works for the government. Next thing you know, Kuma becomes a warlord for the government. Why don't you go over there to Vegapunk, go see what's wrong with Kuma and what happened with the procedure? Ask him what happened. Save him, bro. Stop looking. Like, I'm so sick of seeing these stupid panels where people just looking off to the horizons, and it's just 3 dots. That's the ending of the chapter, though, with Kuma getting an order from the government, the main government, and we don't know what the order is. This is before he gets the procedure done to him that takes his individuality and his sense of self. So we will see what happens in the next chapter, where it may be the last one, or, you know, we see what happens with the procedure that, you know, turns Kuma into the Kuma that we know now. Hopefully there's hope. If there's not, damn, you know, like, damn. And we still have so many more backstories, so many more secrets to go through, so many more things that we don't know. And I feel like for the remainder of, honestly, for me, for the remainder of my enjoyment of this manga, it's gonna be tough, you know. Like, this is a tough backstory. This is tough. Like, this is a very tough backstory. So like, I need to go like to therapy or something, like, you know, go to therapy, like, you know, I just need to like find happiness, you know, because after this, like, you know, this is like, damn, you gotta hold that, you know. Like, do y'all feel the same way? Like, you just gotta hold that. In the comment section below, what do you guys think about not just this chapter, but Kuma's backstory, and what you think is going to happen in future chapters? Because we are not on break. We get a chapter next week. So let's see what happens, bro. And I'll see y'all when the next chapter comes out, and so we can talk about it, man. Sad chapter.